After months of rumors and leaks, Samsung has just unveiled its follow-up to the wildly successful Galaxy S4, the Galaxy S5. Packing a load of new camera tech, a fingerprint scanner, and some innovative health features, could this be your next upgrade? Let's take a look at how the Galaxy S5 stacks up against another phone, the iPhone 5S from Apple. Now, when it comes to size and build, a bit like the jump from the Samsung Galaxy S3 to Galaxy S4, the design changes in the S5 are more of an evolution than a revolution. In fact, the best comparison would be a look at Samsung's other flagship, the Galaxy Note 3. The bulk of the device is still plastic, even the metal-styled ribbon around the rim is plastic. Moving on to the back, there's a leather-styled rear complete with a pinhole design. Now, weight-wise, the Samsung Galaxy S5 comes in at 145 grams and measures 142mm by 72.5mm by 8.1mm, which is a fair bit bigger and heavier than the iPhone 5S. Apple's flagship weighs 112 grams and measures 123.8mm by 58.6mm by 7.6mm, though of course you do have to take in consideration that the iPhone boasts a much smaller display. Now, while I did mention that Samsung's design for the new Galaxy S5 was iterative, the same can easily be said from Apple's move from the iPhone 5 to the 5S. Everything from the curved edges to the two-tone back and the aluminum construction were carried over, although I have always been impressed with the premium materials used by the Cupertino company. Now, both phones come in a choice of colors, with the Galaxy S5 arriving in charcoal, blue, gold, and white, and the iPhone already available in space gray, silver, and gold. Now, when it comes to the screen, both the iPhone 5S and the Galaxy S5 offer very different specs. Samsung chose to kit its latest offering out with a Full HD Super AMOLED screen measuring 5.1 inches. Android phones in general have always stuck to the larger screen sizes, with the iPhone sticking to a more portable 4-inch size. Now, about the processor, Samsung has again crammed a lot of tech into powering its latest flagship, including 2GB of RAM and a quad-core Crate 2.5GHz chip. However, unlike the iPhone 5S, which features an Apple A7 processor and 1GB of RAM, the new Galaxy S5 is still 32-bit as opposed to 64-bit. While this won't cause any day-to-day issues, it does raise some questions about future support once 64-bit processors are commonplace among Android devices. Now, when it comes to camera, both these phones really go full force in touting respective camera tech, whether it's the amount of megapixels, nifty software tweaks, or the low-light performance. In terms of megapixels, the Galaxy S5 packs 16 in its rear camera and 2 up front, which sounds more impressive than the 8-megapixel version on the back of the iPhone 5S. Samsung is also touting a new HDR mode that should provide more realistic-looking skin tones, along with a super-fast autofocus that takes just 0.3 seconds to lock onto its target. Another particularly cool feature is selective focus, which allows you to achieve pictures with a shallow depth of field effect, similar to those captured on pricey DSLRs. Now, UHD video recording is also a new feature. The Apple iPhone 5S also has some tricks tucked away in its camera bag, including a true tone flash for realistic skin tones in darker environments, a sapphire crystal lens cover, an f2.2 aperture, and a backside illuminative sensor. It can also shoot slow motion video if you fancy getting a bit creative. Now, operating system is the place where these phones really get very different. Both these high-end, high-spec, and high-priced devices come boasting some really interesting features, but as is new, let's start by talking about the Galaxy S5. Now, winning top billing on Samsung's new superphone is an array of health features collectively labeled S Health 3.0. Tools in this package include a pedometer, a personal fitness tracker, and a new way to keep up to date with your diet, but the most innovative clearly seems to be the built-in heart rate monitor. Positioned just below the camera sensor on the back, this lets you touch your thumb against it and instantly be notified of your heart rate. Clever! Now, Apple's iPhone 5S also includes some smart fitness tech by way of the M7 coprocessor, which can keep track of your movement, although Apple doesn't include any default apps for this. Now, another addition to the Galaxy S5 is the fingerprint scanner, positioned on the home button. After Apple revealed its iPhone 5S was supporting a similarly placed scanner, it was only a matter of time before it became the norm. Samsung has struck a global partnership deal with PayPal to provide fingerprints via fingerprint reader verification in 26 markets. It'll be interesting to see how this actually works, but for now it really sounds impressive. Now, unlike the iPhone though, Samsung has ensured the S5 is a bit more rugged by having it IP67 certified. What does this mean? Well, basically, it means that the device is dustproof and waterproof in areas of up to about 1 meter. Now, it's hard to compare these two devices in terms of software, as they're both so radically different. The iPhone runs iOS 7, while the Galaxy S5 is powered by Android 4.4 KitKat, and the UI remains pretty much the same on last year on both phones, although there has been some tweakage of the notification tray and lock screen on the Galaxy S5, and of course iOS 7 did get a redesign from iOS 6. Now about battery, the Samsung Galaxy S5 comes with a 2800 mAh battery, which should be good for a day's data and talk, which is pretty normal for a phone these days. On average, that's about how much battery you can actually get out of the iPhone 5S. However, one really cool feature on the Galaxy S5 is basically a feature that will allow you to use when you're running really low on battery. If you use that feature, the phone screen will go black and white, and you'll get about 24 more hours of talk time on 10% of the battery left. And that's an area where Samsung really innovated, and that's an area that the iPhone 5S really just can't keep up with. Now, both of these phones are amazing phones for sure, whether it be the innovative health features on the S5 or the camera tech on the iPhone 5S that really stands out. However, both of these phones lack real innovation in terms of design, and it does seem to be a little bit of a very small step forward as opposed to a giant revolution. Now, of course, the Galaxy S5 is just released, and it'll be interesting to see how it stacks up over time, but for now, I would say probably go with the S5. This iPhone 5S has been out for a while now. It's probably going to be updated in about half a year, and I really think that the iPhone 5S, it's not quite as big a change as the Galaxy S5 is, because really not much change beside the fingerprint sensor and the operating system. The Galaxy S5 has a number of small improvements which you will notice on a day-to-day basis. But let me know which of these two phones you prefer in the comments below. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!